listening to Bill O'Reilly's Presidential Town Hall.
Okay, our next guest is the very flamboyant Congressman from Texas, Ron Paul. I don't think the Congressman likes me very much. We've gone around and around on some foreign affairs stuff, and I got a couple of questions for Mr. Paul this evening. But, Congressman, right now in the Rasmussen poll, you're at 7%. I assume that you have a strategy to get yourself above the leader, Herman Cain, who's at 26%. Can you tell us a little bit about how you're going to do that?
Well, we're going to continue to do what we're doing, and in the polls in both Iowa and New Hampshire, we're in third place, and we're in range of being in the one or second place. So I would say that where we have done our hardest work, most campaign, the biggest organization, spent the most money, we're doing quite well.
All right, I got the Iowa and New Hampshire numbers. You're at 11 in the Iowa. This is the average, the Real Clear Politics average. And in New Hampshire, you're at 11 as well. So it's a state-by-state play, and you're going to continue to be a libertarian, contrarian. This is what I believe, and you're hoping that that will lift you.
Well, I mean, I think the people in charge are the contrarians. I mean, to label me contrarian isn't quite fair. I believe in the Constitution. I believe in limited government. I believe in liberty. I believe in a strong national defense. If I'm a contrarian, then the people who are in charge have gotten off target. So I just think I am mainstream America, and that I support what has made America great.
Okay. Now, is there some people run for president? I mean, obviously you're a long shot. You know that. But is it in your mind that it's worth the effort, because these campaigns are grueling, is it worth the effort just to get your point of view into the conversation?
Well, that's not the goal. The goal is to win. That's
no, but if you're a congressman, people don't really hear you because there are so many congressmen. You run for president, everybody hears you. Isn't that alone worth the run?
Well, I imagine that is a side effect from having run, but you run to win because you want to offer something. You want to offer a change in direction.
What is the most unpleasant part of running for president for you? What is the most unpleasant thing you have to deal with? People like me, right?
Well, I don't like demagogues, and politics is filled with demagogues. You know, your opponents, you run into it.
Anybody on the Republican sheet?
No, I'm not going to name names.
Why? You're a no-spin guy.
Yeah. No, demagogues always put a spin on it in order to distort the truth, and that's what politics is made up. In Washington, basically everybody has to put on spin, they demagogue, but the whole goal here with the Republicans and the Democrats have been for power, not to change anything, because their policies are essentially the same. I mean, the changes never occur. I think that's and yet the rhetoric is a bit different, but the American people are sick and tired of that.
Now, if there were one thing that you could change about this country, only one, you had a magic wand, you get one choice, what would be the one change that Ron Paul would make?
Only put people in Washington with a strict adherence and an understanding to the Constitution.
So they have to take a quiz, a test?
Well, they have to be re-educated. You know, the public school system hasn't done a very good job. The Constitution has zero meaning. You know, the president right now, if he wants a law passed, he just writes it, and the Congress says nothing. You know, it's supposed to be the Congress supposed to rewrite laws, but the president, and it's been with both parties, they just write executive orders.
That's right, but those executive orders were built into the Constitution and presidential powers.
Yeah, but only for those things that are authorized by the Constitution. They're not to write laws with the executive order. They're only to give directions, say military orders, but they can't write executive orders to write law. That is a vicious abuse of power.
Okay, well, that's interesting, and I kind of agree with you there. Now, I have a book out, Killing Lincoln. I hope you'll pick it up. I know you don't have a lot of time to read. But Abraham Lincoln, as you know, suspended habeas corpus. And a lot of people hated him for doing that, and they were obviously against the Constitution. It's one of the bedrocks of it. But he did it because he said, if I don't do this, I'm going to lose that war. There's going to not be an America anymore. There are going to be two countries. So the argument is that in times of stress, in times of trouble, the chief executive has got to make decisions like that. And you say?
Well, I think that's why we're in the mess we're in now. Everybody compromises, and you do that after a few years. There's not much left to personal liberty. Then You have no privacy in this country. You have no protection of civil liberties. The president now can assassinate people without even charges made. We have secret prisons. We have no habeas corpus whatsoever when they want to do things in secret. So I would say that attitude has been a steady erosion of our liberties, and this is why we have gigantic government. We have runaway spending. We're facing this worldwide debt crisis, monetary crisis, and nobody really cares about the Constitution. So I think what you point out is important, and that's exactly why we're in the mess we're in.
Okay, if Congress had declared war after 9/11, which I said they should, and I would have voted, had I been in Congress or a senator, to declare war on Al-Qaeda and other, and you would have to define it, but jihadist groups. If they had done that, would you support the drones? Would you support the assassination of bin Laden?
You can't declare war against a tactic.
But you can declare war against a group. The group doesn't have to be affiliated with a country. If Al-Qaeda attacks you, and they did, you can declare war on Al-Qaeda and ancillary groups.
No, but I think the founders actually anticipated this, and that's why they gave us the letter of marque and reprisal, because you can't declare war against a country. It's sort of, if the mafia is attacking, you don't declare war against Italy. If there's a criminal gang doing something, and that's what this is. So they gave us the letter of marque and reprisal specifically, actually, for the pirates, because they didn't want to declare war against a country. So I think it's a perfect solution. I introduced that resolution. I did reluctantly.
All right, okay, so say they worded it the way you wanted to word it, and you're talking about the Barbary pirates back in Thomas Jefferson's time.
Right.
Okay, would you have supported that?
Well, I supported the imperfect solution of, I supported the authority to go after bin Laden. The tragedy was that they didn't do the job in those first couple of weeks at Tora Bora.
I know, but military campaigns are notoriously difficult. You know that.
Yeah,
but I'm trying to get your point of view.
It sure is a difficulty, but just think of the tragic loss of life.
Listen, if we could have gotten them, but our military
they went into Libya. I mean, they went into Iraq and needlessly in a war that was absolutely unnecessary, and it was a total tragedy.
Okay, but what I'm trying to get at, so the people listening tonight understand your philosophy. You don't dispute that bin Laden should have been killed by the United States, or that these other Al-Qaedas or Taliban leaders are legitimate targets of war. You dispute that it hasn't been defined as such. Am I correct?
No, I voted for the authority to do it.
Okay. All right. So I just want to make that sure you don't have any moral qualms about getting them. You just want to go within the framework of the Constitution, correct?
That's right.
All right. We appreciate you taking the time this evening.